What is up, guys? It's Mega Man Chief Fan here, and welcome back to another comic book review. And today, I'm going to be reviewing Jeff Lemire's Sweet Tooth. Easily one of the best comics I've ever read. Now, I don't want to ramble on and on in this intro, so you know what? I don't care if it's going to be a pretty short video. Let's get this started. So, without further ado, it's premise time! So, our story takes place in kind of like a dystopian world where, there's this disease that goes on that creates, children into, like, these weird hybrids of different animals between a human and a different animal. It could be like a deer, it could be a pig, it could be a Wolverine, Well, anyway, enter our main character, a boy named Gus, who has been infected by this disease and has become like a half deer, half elk, half human. And this is not a spoiler whatsoever. The first issue, like the first 10 pages, his dad dies. That is not a spoiler whatsoever. It sounds like it, but it literally happens in like the first 10 pages of the first issue. And Gus is just left alone in the woods until a group of hunters come and try to hunt him down. But he's luckily saved by a man who's really big and strong, named Mr. Japard. Or I really hope I'm pronouncing that name right. But Mr. Japard, once he stares right at Gus, he is traumatized by his past, which I won't dare spoil. So in order to save Gus's life, for which he has sympathy for, he brings him to the Preserve. And I will not dare tell you what the Preserve is. And that is pretty much the premise of the story. Or at least this first volume right here, which, as you can see, I own. And I also own the whole series, but I usually only pull out the first volume if I own it. But I'm gonna be straight honest here. I have no negatives with this series. This is just one of the most perfect comics I've ever read. This is one of the comics that come close to perfection. It's that good. So, without further ado, I'm just gonna go on a ramble about the positives. Oh man, the positives about this book. It is absolutely incredible. Just this book blew me away the first time I read it. It is hands down one of the best things I've read in graphic novels, and just probably in my top 10 favorite book series in general. It's that good. So, what is good about this series? Well, let me tell you. First off, the art. Some people don't like Jeff Lemire's art style, but personally, I absolutely adore it. I love the scratchiness of his art style and how it's so unique from the realistic look and so different from the realistic look that I can just get a little more diversity in comics, especially from a company that's owned by DC. This is a Vertigo book, by the way. And it just seems so refreshing to see something new other than the realistic look that you always get from DC and Marvel. And even sometimes in some indie books go really realistic. But I always love when some series just go simple like this. Like The Wicked Plus the Divine did this, Mind Management did this, and Scott Pilgrim did it. Anything by Brian Lee O'Malley did it. But Jeff Lemire, in my opinion, is probably my favorite. Now, I haven't read anything else from the artists of The Wicked Plus the Divine, so I can't really call them my favorite, but if they were, they would be my favorite. But since I've read pretty much almost everything from Jeff Lemire, or at least everything that he both wrote and drew, I can safely say he's just one of my favorite artists in comic books. And it really shows here because not only is his art style the best here, he provides the best writing possible ever. Seriously, the writing in this book is incredible. And it has kind of like a subtle commentary about how humans kind of, you kind of have prejudices over people that are different. It kind of seems like a little more like a civil rights issue, but not really, because it's more of a disease more than anything. But it just kind of has that civil rights vibe to it, and that's what I really, really love about it, because it can take itself seriously, really seriously, without getting over melodramatic. Now, the characters are great, especially Mr. Gepard, who's my favorite character by far. He has a very twisted backstory. Like, I'm not going to give away his backstory, which is in Volume 2, I think, but, yeah. His backstory is absolutely incredible, and it's very well pieced together. Even some side characters get a big backstory. Even the main villain of the story gets a really dramatic backstory, and that's what I love. These characters aren't just characters. They're actual, well, they're not actual people, but they act like actual people. They just bring such realism to this world and such in a unique way. This is the best way to describe Sweet Tooth, is it's unique in every single aspect. But I feel like one of the best things it does uniquely is the characters. Now, the most unique characters of all are the hybrids, especially Gus and the two other hybrids that join along with them, Wendy and Bobby. And they're just fun characters. You actually kind of see a little romance between Gus and Wendy forming between the whole series, and it's really cute, surprisingly. It's dark because they're trying to get to another place, and they have to face a whole ton of dangers along the way, but this romance kind of seems a little cute, yet it's about like a half man, half deer falling in love with a half woman, half pig, but it's just beautiful. And that's another thing I can compliment the series on. Even though it's kind of vulgar, in fact, it's pretty vulgar, it's beautiful. It is absolutely gorgeous in both its art style, the writing, some of the emotions that get pulled off in this book. It can be incredible. Absolutely incredible. And everything about this book is just incredible. Everything. I know I keep repeating myself, but what else do I have to say? Now, another thing I want to say is that it has excellent pacing. I know it does have 3 filler issues in the middle of Volume 5, but they're really good filler. They're not like another thing I know of a filler. You monster. But anyway, I really want to go more on and on and on about this story and characters, but I feel like I'm going to spoil too much. So I'm just going to keep this review a little bit shorter and already go to the score. Sweet Tooth is just incredible. Absolutely phenomenal. And this book made Jeff Lemire my favorite ongoing comic book creator of the modern age. And that's why I can safely give Sweet Tooth a 10 out of 10. Just buy the series. The first volume is really cheap. It's $13 retail, but you can probably find it cheaper online, like on Amazon. That's how I got it, on Amazon for $10. So it's definitely worth your time and money. Just please get this series. It is one of the best things you will ever read. So that's my video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and hopefully I made you find out about a new series, or made you want to hop on a new series. So anyway, what did you guys think of Sweet Tooth if you've read it? Leave a comment down below and tell me what you thought of Sweet Tooth. But anyway, I'm Mega Man Chief Fan, and I'll see you later, guys.